You've read the title. Really no need to explain much more, so let's just get right into it. At the time of scripting is 2026, and unless the heat death of the universe just came, you most likely know what Five Nights at Freddy's is, or recognize some components about the series. Otherwise, to give you a short description, Five Nights at Freddy's, FNAF for short, started as an indie horror game where you the night guard survive 5 nights at the establishment Freddy's Fazbear's Pizzeria against the animatronics. The first game ended up becoming a cultural phenomenon, getting multiple sequels and expanding into different mediums such as collectibles, books, movies, and much more, evolving from the creator's final game to a multimedia success. Alright, that should be enough information for a description. Now, if I recorded enough footage, the background gameplay you're seeing right now is me playing FNAF 1. If you could guess specifically what version of the game I am playing, then go get yourself a slice of pizza. Otherwise, let's get to the point of the video. Since the beginning of the franchise's history, I was definitely a poser when it came to the series. Didn't play any of the games till I played FNAF 3 on mobile, and even when I bought the entire franchise on a more respectable platform, I either didn't play it, didn't finish it, or finished it once and haven't touched it ever since. If we exclude any game released after Pizza Sim, then FNAF 4 has the most amount of hours I spent on a FNAF game. While unfortunately cannot get the exact stats for FNAF World, I definitely know it's more than the surprising amount of hours I have on FNAF 1. This is mainly to show compared to other people I am not as knowledgeable when it comes to playing the games themselves compared to the stuff around them. Sure, I could definitely explain on how you could play the games, but anything further about that is not in my ballpark. I much prefer talking about the stuff around the game, be it the characters, atmosphere, the lore, and much more. Like my history with the franchise itself. For your heads up, my memory when it comes to recalling the past is not the greatest, so this is the best I got for my introduction to the franchise. Now, when the first game came out, I was still in my later years of elementary school. Back then, I deliberately avoided anything that I would find scary, so a scary game like FNAF was something I avoided at first sight. Only issue is, I had classmates at the time that would just love to talk about the series. Everything I heard offhandedly from them never caught my interest at the time. Probably just too focused on getting into Pikmin and learning about Japanese Power Rangers to deal with the horrors of Chuck E. Cheese. It wasn't until Christmas later that year that I had my earliest encounter with the franchise. Visiting my cousins from out of state, I remember seeing the thumbnail of a YouTube video that I think my brothers and cousins were about to watch. Some sort of broken golden bear was hogging most of the thumbnail. While not scary in hindsight, it definitely scared a younger me. Don't think the video even played, but I still remember seeing the thumbnail on the TV screen. If you want to know what that video is, well, it was Game Theory's FNAF 2 theory video. Funnier enough, this was my first introduction to the OG Game Theorist himself, MatPat. This did get me to the channel, as I vividly remember watching his Majora's Mask theory video that had Peanut Butter Gamer as a guest star. While I did eventually start to watch Game Theory's FNAF videos, I still consider myself a observer of the franchise and not a fan. Sure, I knew some of the lore, seen the top 10 videos on why Toy Freddy's Fat and the secret characters of FNAF, but still, those were mainly just me watching just because I knew of FNAF and didn't want to get scared by watching Let's Play videos of the game. Ultimately, what fully cemented my love for this franchise was thanks to the FNAF source filmmaker community, or just fan-made FNAF animation as a whole. But the SFM animators were the main ones I watched. Those animated music videos to either FNAF original songs or non-game related songs already got me into a lot of music. It was thanks to these animators that got me into Magic Dragons, Fall Out Boy, The Offspring, and probably so much more. Makes me wonder how many of my favorite songs are because of random YouTube videos with favorite characters of mine in them. Anyways, it wasn't just because of the music videos, but also the original stories people would make with the characters. Specifically, the multiple FNAF Dare series I used to watch as a kid, mainly the ones by FNAF Fan 126 and another by 020. Those are the main ones I remember watching. While I definitely did have my fun with the series back at the time, but I just see no reason to go back to them unless I really want to get nostalgic about it. Now, if you want to talk about FNAF series that really cemented my love for this franchise to the point that Kimmy will play with the greats like Iron Man, Godzilla, and Pikmin, then we gotta thank Zach Q37 and his Shadows of the Dark Destiny series. Man, I rewatched this series so many times, and even now I still do. I do genuinely love what he does with the FNAF characters to create his series. It gives me similar vibes to Monster Island Buddies, if any of you know. If you're going to take anything from this video, then go support his Shadows of the Dark Destiny series. It's a really fun watch and shows how much aura you can get to Toy Chica. Now to get back on track, once actually becoming a FNAF fan, which I think was around sometime around FNAF 4, It got me to draw very simple stick figures of each of the characters during class. I have some faint memories of me trying to draw all the FNAF characters in the short amount of free time I have whenever I finish a assignment early. Once I was given a topic to write about a short story about a time you were scared, but you eventually conquered it, being really into FNAF, so what I wrote was about being scared of watching FNAF gameplay videos. Yes, you heard that correctly. Not me playing the actual games, but it was about other people playing FNAF that got me terrified. One of those people included Smosh Games. It really shows how easily scared I was back then. Like all fans do, you eventually want to own a collectible of some of your favorite characters from the series. Thankfully in my case, FNAF is not the most amount of collectibles I have from a franchise, especially considering the quality we get most of the time. That's how it goes to a more toyetic franchise, but we're talking about FNAF, so for the first ever piece of merchandise I owned is that old FNAF 1 office set made by McFarlane. To this day, I still own it, just having it displayed in the living room right above a shelf of very old DVDs. Unfortunately, the Golden Freddy minifig that is included is now long gone, somewhere hidden around the house collecting dust. Unlike him, I know where my FNAF Funko figures are, and they're all collecting dust in the cabinet. I used to collect the series extensively, but I ultimately stopped after those Help Wanted Halloween figures came out. Saw no reason to, especially since they stopped doing that. If you collect every figure of a wave, you get a unique figure. While I definitely could see how annoying it will be if you only want just one figure and you're just stuck with a random leg, it was cool either way, and you were essentially getting a free figure, I think. Fun while it lasted. I remember working over the summer with my dad to get the whole first wave on Amazon. Never gained that Lefty figure, unfortunately. I really hate when they had to do exclusives like that, and the fact I still have to deal with it now for another franchise just hurts. Unlike those FNAF figures, my FNAF plushies I still have on full display. I recall times when getting out of elementary school, I got surprised with a jumbo-sized Freddy and a Foxy plush in the car, with a regular-sized Chico to boot. While I love those plushies to death, I definitely prefer the Senshi plushies over them. Really glad I was able to finally own them after so long once they started restocking them again. Honestly surprised they weren't ruined when they arrived to my house. I vividly remembered it was downpouring hard that day. Funnier, it arrived the same time as my Percy Jackson books, and those weren't ruined by the rain either. Last FNAF 1 plushie I have are these two pillow plushies. One that is really just damn ugly, and the other, which looks more like the in-game plush designs, and is really comfortable to sleep on surprisingly. Also, we can't forget the Freddy poster that I have hanging on my ceiling that I see every time I wake up. Really have no clue why I did that, but it's just too damn funny to change it. Now, you just hear me talk about watching FNAF, buying FNAF products. What about actually playing the games? Why have I not talked about playing the games from this video game franchise? Simple. I did not play any FNAF games till I played FNAF 3 on mobile. Even then, I didn't even play FNAF 1 till it was released on Switch. Funny thing is, I did have a PC that would be able to run the games, but I never had the desire to pull the trigger. It was only until I saw the first 4 games come out on Switch was only when I pulled the trigger. Not only double dipping once the first 5 came out physically, but triple dipping finally getting on PC to play the taken down LEGO FNAF. Somehow ranking a total of 7 hours on the Switch version. Generally surprised about that. Now for my actual opinions on the game. It's good. There really is not much else I can honestly say. My respect for this game is great, but nothing really compels me to come back and replay it. I can say the same for basically all the Click Team era FNAF games. They're all good games, but my will to replay them is none. The only one I go back to often enough is FNAF World, and that's a whole different type of game compared to the rest. More often than not, I would rather come back to the modern era FNAF games. Stuff like the Help Wanted games, Into the Pit, and Secret Mimic are games I just find more fun playing. Shoot, I bought a PSVR just to play Help Wanted, and I definitely got my money's worth once I started playing other VR titles as well. If I want to go back to a Click Team style era FNAF game, then I'd rather just play Frick Fierce 3. I personally just get a lot more fun out of it, enough to where I made my own mod for the game that I'm still currently testing out. My love for FNAF 1 comes from the aspects around it more than the game itself. Like how everyone has said before, FNAF 1 is lightning in the bottle, especially for how it presents its story. This was way before any voice acting that wasn't just a phone guide, before any external media to get clues, and even before any minigames. FNAF 1 told a story through the hidden messages you find around the building, showing a short story of missing kids that eventually possess the animatronics you see around the building. It's simple, cryptic, and something that gets more difficult to do when FNAF's lore got much bigger. When cryptic answers get much more annoying with no definitive answers. With answers that should be definitive aren't because there's no official source clearly stating it. Last opinion I'll say about the lore is that we're definitely playing as Michael Afton in this game, and most likely in other Click Team games, even if it's just for a night. Who knows though, I ain't no theorist, leaving the figuring out stuff to people with more brain power than I do. Last thing I want to talk about is the wonderful character design of the animatronics in FNAF 1. Just looking at these characters just makes me want to pull out some scratch paper just to sketch these characters out. When it comes to my favorite types of characters, I found they would fall under 3 specific categories: masked heroes, kaijus / giant monsters, and where FNAF falls into, robots. While my all-time favorite FNAF character does not show up until the sequel, and my favorite edition not till another few games later, the original 4 and Golden Freddy are all still great design characters in their own right. Sure, Freddy isn't a robotic version of an already existing character or one that changes sizes, but I like him for who he is. A funny looking bear with the right conditions can scare your soul right out of you. Freddy's simple but fancy design. Chica just being chicken gets points for me. Foxy looking like a child safety hazard, and Bonnie and his ever-changing colors that no one can seem to come to agreement on. Can't forget about Golden Freddy, who's my favorite from the original game. Could never explain why, but his natural mystery around him draws me to him. Good thing too, since he's the only FNAF 1 character I made art of that I still have on hand. It's a couple years old and very ugly, but I honestly still find some charm in it. Here's a portrait of one of my characters I'm using for the Frickverse remod I'm making to show a comparison of a few years difference. Helps to show a good bit of improvement in my art skills. That should be everything I can talk about, at least when it comes to FNAF 1. Well, thanks for watching, and to answer your question, yes, the gameplay is from the Switch.